Hi, my name is Kristen Butera, and I am the program director here at Yoga Life Institute.
And I'm Erin Byron, and I am the Clinical Skills and Mentorship Coordinator for Comprehensive Yoga Therapist Training.
We're here today. We're talking a little bit about the arc of learning that happens over the 3-year period that the 820-hour program expresses itself on, and reflecting a little bit about how skill sets and mastery happens over a period of time. So in level 1, a lot of what's happening is that you are yourself a case study. And I think that that's a really wonderful place to start from because there's a sense of embodiment of the skill set as it's being developed. So you're really learning how to live the process of yoga therapy starting with your own life and interacting with other people who are doing the same thing.
Which is a really beautiful thing because we teach best what we have experienced and understand. They say the longest journey is from the head to the heart. So that's your level 1 training, learning systems of the body, embodied experiences, somatic education, and from self as case study in the vastness of yoga, this opportunity to see, even though there's more practices than we could ever count or fathom, individualizing the approach to whatever clients are bringing to the yoga therapy sessions. And so there we've now rolled into level 2 where students are working one-on-one with select case studies and experimenting with what they have that realized knowledge on.
Yeah. So in level 2, if we take what we've learned in level 1, which is the embodied anatomy and physiology, a higher level of application of yoga philosophy, yoga psychology, as well as movement practices that spread out not just from yoga poses, but also into breathing, into energetic awareness and energetic anatomy. So what happens is we build on that awareness, that learning in level 2 through looking at, okay, now we understand the systems of the body, so how do the systems of the body look and interact with different disease conditions? And that level of visualization and the ability to apply practices to not just individuals, but then individuals with different disease conditions.
Then we have the opportunity to work not only with the condition, but in the comprehensive yoga therapy training, we're never treating the condition. We've learned from that vastness of yoga and from the foundations laid in level 1 that we're treating the person who is in front of us. We're offering techniques and practices to the person who's showing up with their particular issue. And from a classical yoga foundation, we're remembering that yoga is a state of mind first. So there are many opportunities, even in those situations where one might be incurable. It's not just about fixing the body. It's about having an experience of peace of mind and gaining wisdom from whatever it is that each client is facing. And from that, which is a tricky skill set to develop, we go into level 3.
We go into level 3. So the way that might look in level 3, in fact, we actually just had a great example this weekend as Erin was teaching. Erin gave the group a case study. The level 3 focus for this past weekend was trauma, addiction, and PTSD. The group was broken down into several small groups, and everybody took a completely different pathway based on how they expanded who the individual was that was receiving the yoga therapy at that time. And it was really beautiful for us to watch as teachers because we really saw the holistic application of yoga, which is really the totality of the human experience, being explored and applied with different types of practices. So some folks were really just doing a lot of talking with their clients. Other folks were doing breathing and pranayama. Other folks were doing chanting. Some folks went right for asana and movement practices, but themed the asana practices in a way that was related to the case study that was at hand. So level 3 integrates what's happening through these higher level case studies in terms of being able to see the individual instead of seeing the disease condition. You have to understand the disease condition in order to be able to interface with the individual with that particular disease. But it's a sense of totality. It's a sense of you're really working with the whole person in front of you. And in level 3, what we continue to do is we build more specialization. So level 3 is a lot of really great adaptive and applied practices, meditation, nutrition, pre and postnatal, fertility, yin and restorative, a lot of adaptive practices, a lot of play with props, and not just from the sake of, yes, how do we modify a pose, which is necessary in a lot of ways when you're dealing with someone who maybe is limited in their movement practices. How do we see what's possible instead of what's not possible? So how do we work with folks who really are challenged by the movement practices, but also how do we work with the movement practices to create a variety of experiences? How do we challenge and create a resilient nervous system in folks? And that is not an easy task, but it's a really, really fun one.
Which then applies to some of the other more subtle things being taught in the way you're niching yourself through that level 3, whether that's through a yoga voice approach and using the power of sound, whether that's focusing on more of the mental components. We do an anxiety and depression weekend, trauma and addictions, as Kristen just mentioned.
Body image and pain management. So because yoga is such a vast thing, right, there are so many ways that it can be applied, and there's so many ways that it can help people. So level 3 really starts to narrow the field and help people see, okay, where do I fit into this larger scheme of yoga therapy? Where are my interests? Where are the things that I'm passionate about? Where am I going to focus? Because we can't do it all, right? Everybody, it's too big.
It's too big for everybody to do it all, and that's that's where so much of the fuel and the passion and the fire comes through in the students in level 3, where here both feet on the ground and the mind integrated with the wisdom that's been going on for the last several hundred hours of training, as is the accreditation standard in the field, and really having the opportunity to go into these various careers that Kristen mentioned earlier in terms of addiction centers and hospitals and physio or psychotherapy clinics. I mean, the opportunities are endless, and it's what that individual brings with their interests and unique gifts that allows them to find the career that it locks right into.
Yeah. So we're seeing a lot of people who are coming full circle and finding opportunities in places that they didn't or wouldn't have expected when they first started the training. And I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind, that you may start with one particular goal and need, but you're going to change and evolve over the period of 3 years. And the possibilities of how you might apply these things and bring them out into the world, and how the practices and what you're learning interface with your unique gifts and passions for sharing yoga are going to evolve and change as well.
So we really look forward to supporting you in your own inquiry-based learning, following your passions, your gifts, your dedication to practice, and bringing ever more goodness and integrity to the field of yoga therapy through comprehensive yoga therapist training.
It's our great joy to see people develop these skill sets and apply them and transform their own lives, as well as the lives of others as they start to take it out into the world.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks. Have a great day.